A few weeks ago, there was a leak about the amount of weapons that Battlefield 6 will be launching with. The leak showcased 46 primary weapons and 6 secondary ones. There seemed to be 9 assault rifles, including some iconic weapons from previous Battlefield titles like the AC-32, the G3A3 and the SCAR-L, 8 carbines, including the M4A1 and the AK-205, 8 PDWs or SMGs with the usual suspects like the MP7, MP5, P90, UMP and Vector all making a return, 8 LMGs including the M27IR, the M249 and the RPK, 5 shotguns, 4 DMRs and 4 bolt action rifles with the SV98 making a return from previous Battlefield titles like 3 and 4. At the time of the leak, we're also getting information about content and maps already planned to be released as season content, so there was no information around how many of the above 46 primary weapons were actually planned to be part of the base game. Yesterday we got confirmation from Alexia Christofi, producer at DICE, that even though the reveal event in the open beta will have less weapons, Battlefield 6 will launch with more than 40 weapons. Obviously, this is some very important news, since one of the many ways that Battlefield 2042 managed to be the worst Battlefield of all time was simply the lack of content. Weapons are obviously a huge part in any first-person shooter. The less weapon a game has, the faster the player base will get used and bored, since they don't have many alternatives. Battlefield 2042 lands with only 19 primary weapons, 4 assault rifles, 4 SMGs, 3 marksman rifles, 3 sniper rifles, 2 shotguns, 2 LMGs and 1 lever action. Battlefield 5 and 1 also had less weapons that Battlefield 6 will have at launch, with 30 and 27 weapons respectively. Battlefield 3 and 4 were the only Battlefield titles at launch with more weapons than Battlefield 6 will. Battlefield 3 had about 50 weapons, which is very close to Battlefield 6, and Battlefield 4 had an insane amount of 84 primary weapons at launch. Another very important aspect when it comes to weapons is how they are unlocked. In Battlefield 2042, for example, because there were no classes at launch, weapons were unlocked by simply leveling up your character. In previous titles, weapons were unlocked by leveling up the class to which each weapon was locked behind. For weapon categories that were accessible by all classes or by more than one class, then those weapons were unlocked by playing with weapons in the same category. If you wanted to unlock a carbine, for example, you had to reach X amount of XP with carbine weapons. In few cases, weapons were also locked behind assignments that players had to complete. Obviously, having weapon progression locked behind classes and weapon categories is a much better decision compared to unlocking everything just by leveling up in general, since having weapons locked behind classes or weapon categories or even assignments adds a sense of progression and meaningfulness when you eventually manage to unlock the weapon you're after. Overall, things are looking very promising with Battlefield 6. Not only the gameplay that we got to see a few days ago seems solid, but also the amount of content the game will be launching with looks like it will be plenty to keep the player base entertained for a while. We get a lot of new exciting news every single day about the maps, the guns, the gameplay, the server browser, which I'm gonna make a video about tomorrow. There's so many news, and the big majority of them paint a very good picture about the game. In case you haven't seen the maps Battlefield 6 will be launching with, as well as the remakes that will be released later on in the game's life, you might want to check the description to find my previous video. What are your thoughts about the amount of weapons Battlefield 6 will be launching with? Are you okay with 46 weapons, or do you think that they're not enough? Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.